Welcome to another lesson in math. We're looking at paper 1, paper that was written on 7th July 2016. And we're looking at a question on evaluating as well as the rule of BoDMAS. Okay, the rule of BoDMAS. And if you'd like more lessons like this one, feel free to contact us on the numbers highlighted in green. The first number being our WhatsApp line. Okay, let us get on to the question. So you should realize that in paper 1, mostly testing your ability to think quickly, and also mostly they just want you to give the final answer. Of course, the spaces that are left are for you to write anything that you may need to work out, okay, for you to do your calculations. You don't use a calculator in paper 1, but you can use the space around the space provided within the question paper. Do your working. That also guides the marker. It also guides the marker to see what actually was happening, what you were doing, what was the thinking process, for you to arrive at this answer. And nonetheless, paper 1 also helps those learners who are sharp at maybe mental calculations. If you are sharp with mental calculations, it means you may not need to write everything. You'll skip some steps and get on quickly to your answer. So paper 1 also helps those kinds of learners. If you're such a one, maybe it would be good. Paper 1 will be advantageous for you. All right, so let us get on to the question. It says, question number 1A says, find the value of 3 minus 3 times 3 plus 3. Okay, so they are all threes, but the operation signs are different. We have a minus, multiplication, and addition. So this question tests you on your understanding of BoDMAS. What's the order of operation? What should be the order? Should you start by subtracting or adding or multiplying, or just take them in the order that they are, with the subtraction, the multiplication, then addition? What should we do? Okay. So BoDMAS is what actually guides us. Okay, BoDMAS, which stands for brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Okay, brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. That's the order in which we're supposed to calculate. So you first start with the brackets. Okay, sometimes we may have to introduce brackets for us to show where we are starting. Okay, sometimes we do that. If there are no brackets, you may want to put some brackets so that you show where which calculation or operation you're starting with. And then follow on from. So after brackets, you move on to division. If there is division, that will be the next one. The next one will be multiplication. After that, the next one will be addition. After that, lastly, subtraction. Okay. For the most part, if there's only division and multiplication, this can be taken in any order you will realize between division and multiplication. And if there's only addition and subtraction, also you may do it in any order. But where these are combined, that's where mostly BoDMAS becomes very critical to follow. All right, like we had the situation that we have. So as it is, we've copied that question, and you should notice from our question there was a 3 and a 3 there. Okay, just getting, there is a multiplication sign there. So BoDMAS says that we should start with multiplication before addition or subtraction. Okay, so there we have it. So 3 times 3, I put brackets there to indicate that this is what I'll start with. Brackets are the first. So I've just included the brackets. I've introduced brackets. So that's what we'll start with. Multiplication 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, then like I mentioned, when there's only subtraction and addition, you can pick them in the order they are. It doesn't matter so much. Or if there's only division and multiplication, you can also do them in the order that they are. But when they're combined, like it was at the beginning, That's where it becomes very important to follow BoDMAS. So here I can start with the subtraction. So 3 minus 9 is -6. -6 plus 3 is equal to -3. Okay, that's our final answer. And remember, for the rules on integers, there's a minus and a plus. The rule is that you should subtract and put the sign of the numerically bigger, which is the 6. Okay, the number that is bigger when we are counting is 6 and not 3. So you put the sign for the 6. Okay, that's the sign of your answer, and you subtract if the signs are different, minus and plus. And if the signs are the same, we add and put the common sign. Okay, if they are both negative, we add them and put negative to the answer. If they're both positive, you add and put positive. Okay, but these are different. You have to subtract and put a negative. That's how addition and subtraction works. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Part B says evaluate 42 divided by 0.07. Okay, so evaluate simply means find the value of. Okay, so just do the operation. Here it's division. So how are we going to do this? This is a decimal number. So what we want to do first is to convert this decimal number into a fraction. So that's another skill you need to know, how to convert a decimal number into a fraction. Okay, so you just count the number of zeros, sorry, decimal places. So you have 0 and 7. Okay, so if you move this, in other words, you want this decimal point to move 1, 2. You want it to move 1, 2 to the right. So that it gives you a significant number, okay, and not decimal places, or a standard format of expression, if you like. This, you can do it by multiplying by 100, because you're going to move the decimal place 2 times. So for you to make this a non-decimal number, you have to multiply it by 100. But then you don't want to change anything to this question. So you multiply by, you divide again by 100. So 100 over 100 is equivalent to 1. And multiplying a number by 1 does not change anything. So this 100 over 100 that I've introduced does not change anything, but it will help me express this in form of a fraction that will become easier for me to manipulate the whole expression here, so that I can quickly calculate and evaluate. All right, so we multiply by 100 over 100 to convert this into a fraction. This is how we convert a decimal number into a fraction. Okay, so multiply by 1. The number of zeros that we include will depend on the number of decimal places. So we do that. 0.07 times 100 will give you 7. So notice I've also formulated a fraction out of this 42. I've made it a fraction. Okay, so 42 over 1. Yeah, and then this 100 multiplies with the numerator, the 1 that I introduced again to make it a fraction, and the numerator multiplies with a 0.07. So numerator multiplies with numerator, denominator multiplies denominator, and this will give you 7 over 100. Okay, then when you're dividing fractions, you convert it into multiplication first by flipping the second fraction. Okay, you flip the second fraction such that the numerator becomes the denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator. When you do that, here it goes to be 42 over 1 times 100 over 7. Okay, and then with that, you can cancel out factors, common factors in the numerator and in the denominator. Okay, so 7 in 7 is 1. 7 into 42 is 6. Okay, and if you multiply 6 times 100, everything over 1 disappears, because 1 times 1 is 1. So 6 divided by 1 is a 6. 6 times 100 will give you 600, and that's our final answer. We have evaluated, and this is how you express your final answer. So here I'm just showing the working. Okay, I'm just showing the working. Like I mentioned, paper 1 gives you the liberty not to show everything. Okay, not to show everything. You can skip steps because the question is more interested, rather the paper is more interested in your final answer. Okay, but your working gives the marker some idea of what is going on or your thinking process. So yeah, it's also important. And of course, you will find that you will be quicker thinking on paper than just in your head. For most questions, it's easier and faster to just write it down than to just try to figure out what it is in your mind, especially where you have no calculator. You find that it will be faster to work something out on pen and paper. I encourage you to write out what you're thinking than just leave it in your head. Sometimes we make mistakes in the head, but if you put it down, it becomes clearer because you're even utilizing your eyes as well to see what it is, so that you're confirming with your eyes what it is. Yeah, okay, we've come to the end of this question, and this is how we express, and we get 1 mark for each of these questions. This is how we express and present our answers. All right, all the best in your studies. If you need more videos like these, feel free to contact us on the numbers highlighted in green.